Hey guys, Heiji here. Today I thought I would do one of the BJD tags that's floating around YouTube. I'm not sure how old this one is, so if it's ancient, I'm sorry. I've been out of the loop for a while. Well, the very first BJD I bought, I had to wait an excruciatingly long time of about 2 minutes while the person ran my card. I actually bought my first BJD at an anime convention when I was in college. He was an Angel of Dream vampire Chi, and my friend at the time had talked me into buying him. I mean, he wasn't very expensive, so I cheated. My first doll I bought in person. But if you want to go from the first BJD I actually ordered brand new, I feel like it was 2 to 4 months. And while I realize the range might be cheating a little bit, I honestly can't remember who I bought first. I am 90% sure it was Aki. He is my SID Storm, and he would be here right now, but Chronically Spaced is making him a wig. But it could have also have been Heiji here, who I bought after that, I think. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Aki, and he was, I think it was just over 2 months. So I'm gonna stick with the range just to cover all my bases. It has been 6 years now, which I find insane. It feels like just yesterday I was buying my first brand new doll. Because understand, I'm not counting this from when I bought Cupcake at that anime convention, because he lived under my bed for several years while I finished out college, and like the first year I was out on my own and living with Chronically Spaced, and he didn't really get cleaned up, or my attempts at cleaning up, until like many years later. So I'm going to count my official entry into this hobby to when I bought my first doll directly from the company, and it's been 6 years. I have now accumulated 14 of these things, and it seems like a ludicrously short time to have accumulated that many dolls, especially dolls that cost as much as these do. Daily? Probably not at all, usually. I work full-time, so it's really hard to get up the motivation to come home and do crafty things or artsy things, and I consider interacting with my dolls artsy, even when it's just creating a simple YouTube video. It can be kind of difficult to even interact with them weekly, so it largely depends on my motivation. Weekly probably is also not at all, maybe 30 minutes to an hour if I feel like messing with them briefly. Monthly, you could say 4 hours, unless I'm feeling particularly into the hobby that month. And yearly, 400 hours! I have no idea. Maybe it wasn't such a great idea for me to do this tag after all. Usually a few months to a year for me. I haven't been in a long time, actually, to comb through the local antique malls for little things I can use for dolls. And it was a lot easier when I lived right down the street from this massive antique mall. Chronically Spaced and I would go there every few months and just spend a couple hours walking through it looking for doll-sized things. And we'd take our dolls, which is always a fun thing to do, to haul these guys into public, and not even the anime public, but the general public. Well, if I'm right about my first BJD being Aki, I feel like it took me 3 to 4 months to get up enough money to order him. Since he is an Eiffel House, Eiffel Houses don't come cheap, and I don't have a lot of disposable income to put back, so it can take me a very long time to get enough money together for a doll. And sometimes I'm bad and will put them on a credit card and pay them off gradually, but I'm trying not to do that anymore. About 4 to 6 months, maybe. Sometimes up to a year. I've gotten to where if I am planning a major doll purchase and I'm not doing it on layaway on the secondhand market or through Mint on Card or something like that, I will plan the purchase around the time I get my tax refund for the year because it's a nice bump and it helps, and I can usually spend most of it on a doll. Faceups can take me 8 to 10 hours, and it largely depends on the size of the head and what I'm trying to accomplish. I honestly still feel like that's too fast, so I'm trying to get to where I slow down and take my time so I can get a cleaner product that doesn't look so rushed and messy, and that's a huge problem for me. I always want to move fast. I don't have a lot of patience, but I'm trying to get better because I want my dolls to look nice, and I want to be able to take a blank doll and make it match the vision in my head. As for wigs, I've only made one, and I feel like it took me a week or two to do it, but I remember stopping in the middle because I got bored and I didn't want to mess with it. I don't do a lot of sewing now, and the last time I attempted to do some sewing, it took me way too long to make a small pair of jeans, and I found out I just don't have the patience for it. I don't really enjoy sewing, and that's kind of an issue in this hobby. Maybe I'll pick it up and try again and see if I can get faster and better. And in the etc. category, the two other things I have done, I sanded Aki's seams after I got them because they were massive, and that took me about 10 hours from start to finish, and I did it all in one go. And I feel like if I have to do that again, I will space it out over a couple of days because my fingers hurt for a long time afterwards. The other thing I've done is a pretty heavy mod project on my Doll Family H Xingyi. His name is Scourge. I did a video after I finished him. It took me 3 weeks to a month to accomplish that, and I'm really proud of it, but also still kind of feel like I should have taken more time to make it look better. Honestly, if I have decided to buy the doll and it has to be that sculpt from that company and they have massive waiting times, I'll wait as long as it takes to get what I want. Honestly though, when we start getting into the year territory, I might reconsider buying from them. It's probably why I don't own a ring doll, because I'm just like, I don't want to wait a year for that doll to come to me. 6 months is bad enough. But at the end of the day, it takes me so long to plan for a doll and to save for a doll. I look at it, what's another couple of months to wait to actually get it? You've waited this long. If I already am familiar with the company I am buying from and I've purchased dolls from them before, I usually won't do a lot of research beyond which sculpt I want to get. It's just companies I trust and know. I know how their bodies are, I know how they work, so I don't really pay that much attention to it, even though I likely should. If it's a company I'm not familiar with, I might do a little bit more research, especially about the technical properties of the doll, like how well do they pose, how well do they stand, and so on. But honestly, most of my research goes into finding the right face for the character I'm looking to shell, as evidenced by my whole quest to find a shell for Mitsu, which I talked about in another video. I don't know if Chronically Spaced and I are oddities in the hobby, but I actually do things backwards. My characters already exist, and so I'm trying to find a doll that matches what's in my head. And these characters have been around for almost a decade, so they're pretty well established, especially as far as what they look like and how they act. And I think there are only 3 dolls that I purchased without already having a set character in mind for them, and that was Cupcake. He was my impulse buy. Tobias, also an impulse buy. He is a Lutz Honey Delft Pie. And Lilith, my dream of teenager Ian? Yeah, Ian. Those 3 I just bought because I really liked the dolls, especially Tobias. I loved the little pissy face on that Honey Delft Pie, so he had to be mine. And thus, he became Tobias, the spoiled little demon child to Cupcake. As for Lilith, I found her on the secondhand marketplace, and she was a really good deal, and I loved that sculpt, and she had a Shallow Sleep Aesthetics face up. So I bought her without having anyone in mind, and then decided she was going to be Lilith after the fact. And Cupcake, poor Cupcake, he's been my guinea pig for many, many years, and he just kind of developed on his own over a couple of years to be the way he is now. Every day, all the time. I'm thinking about it right now. Maybe not quite right now, but honestly, there are so many of these things out there that I want. I think about it often, and it is probably a good thing that I do not have a lot of disposable income, because I would spend it all on dolls, and then I'd have to make a house out of resin doll body parts. And that would just be sad, and probably not very good for you. Have all that resin around. Sorry, I kind of went to a weird place at the end there, but I hope you enjoyed this tag. I'm gonna have to go watch some more of these to find out where I stand, I guess. Just out of curiosity. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!